all good. V, when he started, his was
Down there.
talking and he didn't even realize it. And then Parvin was like, "Are we going?" Yes, Parvin, we're going. And V was like, "Oh shit," and just tried to like nonchalantly pull it up, like, and then had it backwards. And I was like, "Nope, that's not how that works." V, and Parvin's talking, and I'm looking at him like, "Turn it around," and he's like, "Huh?" I'm like,
how come yours is so fancy and not so heavy?
"Because I got this for a Christmas present, and I'm waiting until I have money to buy 3 more.
Oh.
They're $100 a go, so, and I have to order them. They don't just have them at the store."
This shit's expensive.
Yeah, I got like 5 to 7,000 in it. That interface was like 500. I've got 2 more interfaces in the spare bedroom.
What's the point of having that many?
So, long story short, when I first got into it, I was not all the way aware of like what kind of equipment I needed. So, and also I was planning on starting it with Ziggy, and Ziggy has an in-home recording studio. And so he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take you with me to Guitar Center and I'll show you what I use." And so I bought 2 interfaces because I wanted matching microphones at the time. So I bought a bundle, but it only came with 1 microphone. So I ended up buying another bundle with a smaller unit, and then that's what I did. So I've got 1 interface that only has 1 mic inlet, and then I've got another one with 2. And then I bought the same brand, only a bigger one, thinking it had the 4, but it was for like in like an actual music studio setup.
Yeah.
So it had 2 music inlets and then 2 microphones. So we sat down trying to do one of the big episodes, and we couldn't get the audio to work on the 2 other mics. And so I went back the next week, back to Best Buy, and they were like, "Oh yeah, dude, whoever you spoke to last time totally gave you the wrong thing." He's like, "What are you doing this for?" I'm like, I do a podcast." He's like, "Oh God, dude, you're using a music setup." He's like, "You're not gonna get the static background. Like it's gonna sound like you're in an empty room." And I was like,
Great.
"Okay, so show me what I need to get."
Yeah.
So we swapped it out, and then I ended up paying like $20 more for that. But that one I can use the microphone on like any Bluetooth device that I can connect to it. So if I wanted to use like a phone mic, I could have it recording there. I can take phone calls, so people could call in and be on the podcast. And then I've got
Why the hell did I come out in the freezing cold then? You could have just called me.
because I don't know how to do that yet. I was because that's what I want to do when Ziggy moves up to Portland, back up to Portland. Is I want to do one of the ones where they do like the side by sides,
Yeah.
and I want to do it like that. But I don't know how to get the Skype video on here along with mine. It would just be, from my understanding, if I was to do it with the knowledge I have now, it would literally be a picture of me sitting in a room by myself
Just talking.
and hearing, and I'm talking to someone and you can hear the other person, but you're like, where the fuck is the other person?
Color.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm like, "Well, how you been, Ziggy? You just been chilling or what?" And they're answers, and they're like, "Well, where the fuck is Ziggy? Like, this guy's crazy." Like, not wrong.
I haven't established that already. You are.
Yeah,
so
not
it's
wrong,
fine,
but yeah. So
That's awesome.
it's pretty interesting. Hold on, talking to yours, Katie.
I don't really know what to say.
Okay, there we go.
I won't be singing. That's for darn sure.
Neither will I. I had to in one of them for like a split second, and it was
on purpose. You had to. What do you mean?
The only way I could remember the quote from this song was if I rapped it.
Oh, please put that on, like,
on a short or something.
Yeah.
Probably not ever gonna happen.
Just behind the scenes. Come on.
That's fair. That's fair.
You should do that.
Yeah, until I get a camera, an actual camera, I can't do that because like I have like the thing was when we started doing everything, I bought an excess amount of like camera stands and mic stands and all that jazz. And so I've got like 4 camera stands, and the problem is nobody I know, like Evan has the exact same phone as me, but every time I'm like, "Bro, let me use it to record videos so I can do 2 angles, like I can shift camera angles throughout the episode." Nah, bro, I'm gonna be on my phone.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like, all right, asshole.
He's your brother. For better or worse.
Feels like worse lately.
Stop.
got a lot of love for him. But watching him, like, the crazy thing is seeing him, like, each time. Like, I see him so often, but it's weird because you see people, and I'm sure you've gone through this, where you see a person and it's a short turnaround. Like, you see him, like, a week later.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're not even the same person.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird and it's cool at the same time. Like, Evan, since he had his whole, what he's got going on right now.
Yeah.
Seeing how he operates is hilarious because obviously nobody drives with Evan other than me and like Assyria. And normally he's Ken Block. Like he's getting that, he's swerving, doing the whole nine. He got himself in quite a bit of trouble.
Oh no.
And so, yeah. I won't put it on blast. I'll tell you when we get off camera.
Sure.
But needless to
Is
say,
he okay though?
Needless to say, homeboy, hold on. This is actually going to go to you. You were the one that got put in jail, right, for driving?
I got arrested, yes.
Yeah, and stayed the night. Okay.
I didn't stay the night. I came real close. Like it was moments, truly.
Okay. Yeah, well, Evan had it.
Did he have to stay the night?
No, he didn't
Oh,
stay the night.
okay, good.
Needless to say, he didn't get a ticket.
Oh, I did.
So he's
And a
just
court
got
appearance.
himself an appearance.
Yeah, it's not fun.
In Colorado, in Lakewood, too.
Oof.
It's better than Denver, though.
Having just recently visited Arapahoe County for a traffic issue, that was pretty gnarly, too.
I will say, so for a long time, I always had this preconception that North Glen Police Department and Denver Police Department were like the two most anal police departments. Denver is for sure, but North Glen has got to be like, I don't want to say lenient, but they're kind of nonchalant about everything.
Oh, really?
Because, so long story short, I went out to the bar with a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
And we drove my car that night, and I didn't drink anything. I think I had a beer, but all the rest was water. We were just playing pool, having a good time. And I was taking him home, and mind you, I don't really stay in the state of Colorado because of work. So being able to go to the DMV and get new license plates, not really an option for me because really at that point, if I need to take a day off, I'm basically taking a whole week off.
Yeah.
Like they can't send me on a short route really. And so we're coming home and I forgot that I had a busted headlight. It went out, and with my car, I've got two sets of headlights, so normally I can just flip the days on, and it'll at least look like I have headlights.
Sure.
Well, I forgot to do that when I left the bar because we were having a conversation, and we just drive by, and I didn't realize that the North Glen Police Department was right next to their house, so I just drive by, and I see it, and I turn. I see the lights, and I go, they weren't flashing or anything, but you can tell when it's a cop car behind you.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, shit. So I get over one lane. He follows right behind, and I was like, Sam, get ready, bud. We're getting pulled in. And he was like, what? I'm like, watch. And I flipped to go into the right lane, and as soon as I got back in the right lane, lights on, come on. I pull over, and they're like, hey, bud, so why'd you wait so long to pull over? I was like, well, I was trying to find somewhere where we weren't on a bridge.
Right.
And they were like, oh, well, I would have preferred you just stopped. I'm like, I wasn't trying to leave. Like, I was doing 15. Like, I wasn't trying to get away from you. And he's like, no worries. He's like, you got a busted headlight. And Sam looks over and he just goes, oh, shit, dude. I forgot to tell you your headlight's out. And I was like, damn, like, tried to act like I didn't already know. Oh, shoot, officer. Now, mind you, I've got a busted window on the passenger side, expired plates, and I'm sitting there going, oh, shit. And he goes, license and registration, please. And I'm like, all right, cool. I pull, I give him my license, and he's like, I'm like, give me just a second. I got to shuffle through this paperwork because I got a bunch of paperwork in the glove box.
Yeah.
And he comes back, hey, man, I just need to see your insurance. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm trying to find it. Well, I forgot that when Jess and I split, we split insurance plans. And so I was trying to get in, and I couldn't get in. I had forgot my login, which meant I also forgot my auto pay, which meant I didn't even have insurance.
Shjon.
And so I was like, all right, I'm like, for time's sake, because I got to get him home. And he's like, get who home? You're in the car by yourself. And Sam goes, I'm right here. And And the crazy thing was another cop had walked by and flashed a flashlight through the car. Because he had asked me, why do you have an ammo crate in the back of your car? I'm like, it's my toolbox. That's what my dad gave me when he gave me all my tools for my first car. I'm like, I can pop it open and show you. And he's like, no, it's all right. I believe you. And he was like, you got any firearms in the car? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I got these guns here,
oh,
baby.
stop.
That's
You did not.
it. I
Please
did
tell
not.
me.
No. And and he was like, all right, cool. I was like, for time's sake, I'm not going to be able to get in. If you guys want, just write me a ticket for the failure to replace headlight and driving without insurance. And he was like, all right, cool, man. Comes back, hands me the ticket. They pull off, and I just go, whew. Sam, we're lucky, dude. He's like, why? I'm like, because this car has expired tags. And
He didn't even notice that.
Notice it.
You're so lucky.
And so I just drove home, and he was asking me, well, where are you going? I'm actually going right next to Boondocks. Oh, okay. Well, your ID says you live in Denver. Well, like, where are you coming from? The bar? He's like, oh, do you have anything to drink? I was like, water. Like, I'm a driver. Like, I can't drink and drive. And he was like, oh, okay. You drive for a living? I'm like, yeah. He goes, okay. Well, maybe next time do a pre-trip on your car before you leave. And I was like, you smart ass. Like, just get out of here.
Did you get a ticket, though?
Yeah, I got a ticket.
Okay.
But then I had a court date, talked to the judge, and she was like, oh, well, if you can get us insurance, then you can go ahead and we'll drop your ticket down. And I was like, all right, cool. But then when they wanted me to call back to the courthouse to do it, I was in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming. So my phone call drops. I call him back like an hour later. He's like, all right, we can push it out one more month. You got to be there. Otherwise, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
And we got it taken care of. I got to do it on this upcoming Thursday.
Guess that's what you'll be hanging out.
Yep. I'm going to
do that.
enjoying myself.
Otherwise, you'll have a bench warrant like I did and didn't know about it. That's why I got arrested.
Oh, that's why?
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
But I did. It was like a year, maybe. Because I had always kept my address to my parents' house. Because they weren't. I didn't think they were gonna move. They did after 20 some years. I didn't think about it.
Was this when they were living off Winona?
Mm-hmm. And I had gotten pulled over for, I think, a taillight out on my way when Rick and I were dating.
Oh, going out to Minnesota.
And I got pulled over 3 times in this 60. I guess it was like 70 miles between where I lived and he lived. And every time I got a warning, because I said I just got pulled over, I showed him my warning. The problem was I was still under my parents' insurance because I was right out of college. You could still hang on to that fund for a little while. Yeah. And I didn't have an updated card. So it was all these things.
Oh, they were just adding a list.
But I was like, I just thought it, and it said on there, send in your insurance and then you'll be fine. I sent in my insurance. They said they never got it. They were sending all these court dates to my folks' house.
And they were just like...
They were gone. They know they didn't live there anymore.
Oh!
So then when I got pulled over legitimately for speeding, which I was, after being married for 1 month.
Way to go, Katie.
They said, did you ever get pulled over in this county? And I was like, I don't know what county I live in right now because I just moved there. I'm in my new work clothes. Do you know what I mean? Like, horrible. So he's like, well, I have to take you in. You have a warrant out. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
So yeah, you were supposed to show up. I was never made
But
aware.
I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was terrified. And Rick's out on the lake. There's not a lot of surface out there. I was so lucky. I called and I was like, you have to bring bail money. He's like, what is happening?
He's like, we've been together a month. What the hell is going on here?
Who did I marry?
Yeah, what the?
The best part is his parents were at wedding reception, small town, at the VFW, which is across the street from the jail. So I was like, when we walked out, I was like, please don't come out of the, please do not. They did.
Yeah, they
did it. So that was
They just walk out and they're like.
It was not my fun. And I remember telling Rick, like, this will never be funny. It's funny. It's funny now. It's been 17 years almost. It's funny now, but it was like at the time. Because, I was filling out the overnight paperwork, dude.
Oh, wow. And he barely came by and got you.
Yeah, and I was like, if I have to stay here, I don't know.
Were you in like a cell with other people?
No, by myself, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
But then you're like just sitting there like, don't touch anything. It's all that.
Yeah, it's all probably all dirty.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to have to, if I stay here, I don't know.
Yeah, you're definitely.
Also, I'm going to have to call my boss that I just got this job. Like,
hey, I'm not coming in the morning.
I'm late.
I'm in county.
The best part is, I just have to make sure I'm holding it right. Rick, at the time, also small town, had never used his ATM card. So, okay.
They live like cave people up in Minnesota, apparently. What?
So not only did he have to go home and find one,
Mm.
then they have the limit. You can only withdraw so much. So he had to hit a couple ATMs quick before.
Yep.
He called a bail bondsman person, and they're like, "That's not enough for us to come out." So he didn't know what else to do.
See, that's always what I was told is because when I got into the car accident off Hampton, I thought for sure I'm spending at least a week in county because technically, I committed a felony hit and run.
Sure.
And so I'm like, yep, I'm definitely going to jail right now. Like, I am not getting out of this.
Right.
But thankfully, because I was honest and told them that I took off and then I came back and they saw the big ass boob I had on my forehead.
Yeah.
They were like, how fast were you going? Probably about 55. They're like, and what happened? I'm like, look underneath the car. The brake line snapped. And they were like, so you just were rolling. I was like, I literally was just rolling. And he's like, none of the airbags deployed. I'm like, why do you think I have a boob on my forehead, bro? Smacked the steering wheel and took off. And he was like, all right, cool. He's like, well, go and hop in the ambulance, let them do their whole shebang, and then jump out, and we'll figure out where we go from here. And I was like, all right, cool. Got in. They saw the big old strap mark from the seat belt, and they were like doing the whole concussion thing. And they were like, yeah, you got a pretty bad concussion right now. And I was like, oh, okay. And so they walked out, told the officer, and he was like, cool. You got somebody here to pick you up? I'm like, yep, I do. And he was like, all right, cool. Go on your way. Just figure out how you're going to tow the car.
Whoa. That's impressive.
Didn't have a driver's license. Wasn't my car.
You guys are jerks. I just, that's insane.
I don't even win the competition, though.
No, you don't. Xander does.
Bear definitely wins. But Evan has an opportunity to win just as big as he does.
Yeah, but here's my thing. Y'all keep getting off, and y'all keep doing stupid-ass shit.
Not me anymore, okay? I learned my lesson. I don't do anything stupid other than the one time I did drive into the wall, park in the car. Mm-hmm. Foot slid off the brake onto the gas, bang, hit the wall.
No words.
It was not my fault. It was the gas pedal's fault. He knew I didn't want to touch him.
With your
I apparently.
This is why I get nervous that y'all just aren't gonna learn because it's not my fault that my foot.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't have gone downstairs.
Maybe.
And just
Maybe.
There was a little bit of alcohol in that one.
No, not you.
I guess it wasn't a little, but we don't need to condone that on camera.
When I went to court for that though, the judge goes, "How long did you spend in jail?" And I was like, "Long enough." Okay, and that was it. Then it was done. I didn't have to pay a fine, nothing. I
feel like that needs to be the words every person answers with afterwards, because they could see the I don't want to go back.
The worst part is Rick was on the lake with his friend, and who wasn't. I don't know that he was my biggest fan, so that didn't help.
You just got a thing for timing, apparently, Katie.
It wasn't good.
Flawless
it wasn't
timing.
good. It was not good. That is his friends. All of our friends in Minnesota. That's their favorite story.
I can.
Anytime
imagine.
I do anything, like, did you go to jail? Cute, real cute.
You're like, it's funny when I say it. It's not funny when you say it.
I'm not there yet. Too soon. Too soon.
It's been 17 years, man. It feels long enough.
Jackson asked me something about going to jail once, and I was like, I'll tell you when you're a little older.
That's awesome.
No. That was it, though. I like how you brought it up, though. Weren't you the one that went to jail?
I mean, it feels like everybody that I know has gone to jail.
I don't think your mom.
No, Mom hasn't.
Mary Beth hasn't.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Did Jeff go to jail for all that stuff? No, he just got.
No, I don't. No, he feels like he knows his way around.
He's been in trouble.
Yeah, but I don't.
In the paper and everything for it.
For what?
In Kansas, you should ask him. It's pretty funny. It's so dumb.
I'm gonna call him after this and be like, "So I heard
it's
some
real
tea."
Stupid. It's real stupid. You'll be like, "That's so lame."
Yeah, I haven't been to jail. I think I know Bear for sure has.
For sure.
You have Ziggy. Ziggy's been in jail. Ziggy stayed overnight.
I don't recommend it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, nobody does.
No, and I mean, listen, the cop that pulled me over, I was literally like maybe 3 blocks from where I lived. And I had pulled over, and he's like, "You're going to have to repark your car because they're not going to, you'll get towed if you park here." And I was like, so we had to wait for another cop car to come so that they could block me in, like I was going to go anywhere in my really fast old Escort.
You're like, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I can't
And
go
they let
anywhere.
me, like, they let me flip the car around. They let me make a phone call in the back of the car. So it wasn't like me and my hot pink work shirt were a
doing
threat.
a whole, they were like, yeah, nah.
But I was like, all right, it's fine. But he couldn't tell me anything about my warrant. That was the hardest part. Is I was like, what do you mean? Like, why do I have a warrant? Like, for what? He's like, I don't know yet. Because he couldn't pull it up. I guess it was in a different county. But then I got on my sister-in-law because she works in that area. And I was like, why did you not tell me I didn't have a warrant out? She's like, I didn't know I had to look.
You're like,
Fair
I
enough.
can't help you
Fair
if I don't know what, I can't look if I don't know what I'm looking for.
Heads up next time.
How does that change? Like, as you, like, I know, because you guys have been together, like you said, like 17 years?
18 years in a couple weeks. We're almost an adult.
How does that change with, like, his side of the family? Like, your relationship with them?
Oh.
Is it like a friendship kind of thing, or is it
With
more
his
like
family?
or is it more like a family kind of thing?
Well, I think we're not as close because we just don't see them as much.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, that's hard. I mean, I like them all. I feel really lucky that way.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's a lot of people that's not the case.
For sure.
I do. I scored pretty good because I don't have like the in-laws that drive you crazy.
Yeah, no, I was
also
gonna say,
because
Rick's
they're
family
like
seems pretty
900
cool.
miles away, so it's hard to do that. Yeah, it's different though because the way he was raised and his family dynamic is very different from the way I was raised in mine. Not bad or good.
Yeah,
it's just different.
His is more like country kind. I don't want.
Well, and they don't, like it's well known that we overshare in our side of the family, right? Like
I guess it depends person to person.
I think
I feel like it just travels quickly. Like, once one person knows, everybody knows.
Or like there's a lot more communication, I think.
I guess I'm a little bit different because I'm on the younger side of it.
Yeah. And because you guys have tried to, you guys have been out of the
alienated
for a little while. You have not been alienated.
I'm not saying that we were alienated.
You alienated yourself.
Alienation, yes. Who did it?
Do you want me? I'll tell you.
We've already spoken about this.
You guys helped along with it too. That's why I wanted to high five Derek in that podcast. Like, that's right. You clowns take your end of the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just different. They're just different. They're not. Rick and I always joke like his family weren't like they taught. I mean, they were fine. It worked for them. But our family, I just feel like is very involved in lots of areas of life, for better or worse.
Yeah, for better or worse.
And so we always say like, okay, how can we take a little bit of his family of not and a little bit of ours of like staying involved in your kids? Yeah, it's way harder than you think.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine because at this point, because I asked because my dynamic when I was with, when I had, I guess you could say, kind of like another family with an in-law kind of dynamic. It was that balance is super tough to find.
Yeah.
Because, like, hindsight's 20/20, and now that I don't have that same dynamic, I see that I spent all my time with that side of the family, and none of the time with my side of the family.
Yeah.
And so it was this weird thing where once everything split, it was a very unique dynamic because I was being told, like, you're still more than welcome to come around. Like, we still want to be involved in your life. Like, outside of the relationship you have with our daughter, like, we still love you. We still care for you. Like, you're still close to us. Whereas on the opposite side of the coin, for her, it was Mom, Peyton, and Tom would, like, drive by her, and they would be sitting at a stoplight, and Peyton's staring at her like, I'm going to stab you. And, like, Evan with his quick-witted remarks, and, like, it was night and day. Like, it was wild to see because I figured really that was the only real relationship I was in.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured it was going to be the same way for both person. Like
Yeah.
either both families are going to hate the person
Yeah.
that's leaving, or they're
Mhm.
both going to miss the person.
But
That's
don't you think
leaving.
it's because you had a different relationship with her family? She
For
wasn't
sure.
around yours.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
I mean, I could count a handful, probably just on one hand, the amount of times I was around you guys
Mm-hmm.
in that amount of time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, in 4 years, it was very
So,
rare for everybody to see the both of us
yeah,
conjoin.
she just, yeah. So I think that's it
And
too.
the thing too was like it was weird because it wasn't like a situation where it was forced.
Yeah.
It was just like I wanted to make sure that I was involved in that side,
Sure.
and I myself lost the involvement in my side.
I think that happens though. I think if you look, that happens a lot. There's always one side that they're closer to. Like
Mhm.
obviously, it's different for us because we're here versus they're out of state.
Yeah.
But even like if you look at just how I was raised, we were closer to my mom's side of the family than my dad's. Right? They were still they
For
they
sure.
lived within miles of each other, but we grew
Mhm.
up with my mom's side of the family more than we did
Yeah,
my dad's.
grandpa's.
So I think it just happens that way. I think there's always just one side that it's just drawn.
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, I guess that would be a fair point. Whether that be from, like you said, the distance
Mhm.
or just, and I think a lot of that is like the ultimate relationship. Like if because I felt like at that point in time, her relationship with her family was stronger than my relationship with my family.
That plays into it
And
too.
so it was a situation where it was like, well, we're just gonna go to the family that we feel like we have a
Yeah.
stronger connection with.
Sure.
And also part of it was the fact that like her family was much more open hearted
Mm-hmm.
and was welcoming of me much sooner than like mom. Jesus,
Try it again.
especially mom. Like, because I'm mom's first,
Mm-hmm.
and we have such a close relationship that you already know, especially you
Yeah.
being a mom,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that your oldest is also a boy.
Yeah.
That nope, like this is my boy.
Right.
You're gonna have to earn my respect. You're
It's
gonna
hard,
have to
sure.
earn my trust.
Yeah.
And so and obviously everyone has their own predetermined opinions of everybody that they see. So I don't think that helped either.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're probably onto something as far as it's just your first.
Mm-hmm.
There's just and there will always be a protection as a mom.
Yeah. I mean, because she was good friends with Evan.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
but that's kind of like a different dynamic because he's always with me, anyways.
Yeah.
Especially at that point in time.
Yeah.
Because the distance wasn't really that big a factor, and also there's other relationships that play into that.
Yeah.
Obviously, like there was a part on our behalf where we were like, well, we don't like some of the people, so let's not do that. And I'm not saying the overarching family. I'm just saying
Yeah.
immediate family is in.
Yeah, I mean, how I met Rick was through his sister-in-law because we were friends.
No kidding.
Yeah, I worked with her,
Hmm.
and she asked me, and I was like, no, because I was like, if it doesn't work, we still have to work together.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I had plans to move back home. And
Oh.
so, when I decided I was going to move back home is when I was like, sure, I'll meet him.
You're an
Then I don't have to
asshole
worry.
You're an
you know?
asshole for that. But it makes sense.
We can laugh now, because then I don't have to worry about it. I'm like, it doesn't work. I'm out anyway.
See, this was something that okay. So I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here.
Yeah.
So you always hear the saying like it's a small world,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear it, and you're like, no, it's not. Like it's really not. I have the first time I really was like, nope, it's a small world. Was so when I went to Forefront when Forefront was at the
Oh, at the
K8,
school. Yeah.
at the school. I used to be friends with a guy named Josh who lived right on the corner, kind of within probably a quarter mile of where me, mom, and Evan lived.
Okay.
So when I would leave youth group or whatever, stuff like that, like I would go and hang out with Josh at that house. Well, he had a big old he had a big ass deck out the back of his house. And I was like, dang. And I went out there one day and there was this beautiful girl my age that was jumping on the trampoline at the house next door. And I was like, oh, dang, like, she's cute. Fast forward, I stopped going to that house. I'm in high school now, my senior year of high school. We are in the same class together. her and I start dating, and I'm working at KFC. There's this kid that comes in, works at KFC. He's talking to me. He's got like his own disabilities, and him and I start becoming close. We're smoking weed together. I'm going to his grandparents' house, and one night he asks me, the first time I go over there, hey, you want to just come over and like I gotta walk home. It sounds like your walk home is on the way to my walk home. He was like, you just want to walk home together? I was like, sure, shit, I'll meet your grandparents too, bro. And so I walked him home, and like we're coming up, and he's like, oh yeah, we're almost there. I'm like, damn, dude, like I know this area pretty well. He's like, oh, how come? I'm like, oh, I used to hang out at the kid's house right there. He goes, Josh's house? Yeah, Josh's house. Like, how do you know that? He's like, oh, those are my neighbors. Huh? I'm like, how long you lived there? And I lived here pretty much my whole life. I'm like, huh. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm telling him about how I have a girlfriend and what her name is, and that she goes to Bear Creek with me, and she's telling me about a cousin that she has that's got the exact same disabilities as the kid I'm working with and just met their grandparents. And one day, him and I are hanging out, and I'm like, hey, is it cool if a buddy of mine from work comes with me and, like, we all hang out together? Oh, and she's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Totally cool, whatever. I jump in. He pops the back door open, looks in, and goes, Jessica? And she was like, how do you guys know each other? And I was like, this is the guy that works with me. And she's like, I never put it together that you have a friend who's got the same name as my cousin, who's got the exact same disabilities as my cousin.
It's true.
And it was her cousin. Come to find out, like, a couple months later, the girl that I saw on the trampoline back in elementary school was her. And that the kids that I used to play football with my sophomore year of high school during lunch was another one of her cousins and her little brother.
She's got a big family, though.
Yeah. Big ass family. She did that, but you know how Latino families go. They got a bunch of them.
That's how people used to say that about us, though, because we had cousins that were all at the same school as us in high school. So I remember my grandpa died, and there was like 6 people called out, and whoever got called in last was like, this is going on a lot, the lady on the attendance line. She's like, that's because they're all related. Oh.
Sorry.
Who's making it up anyways?
That's such a sick thing to get out of school for. Like, make that up? Was that when Papa Harry passed?
No, Tom.
Oh, G-Mod's dad.
Yeah. I think I was a freshman.
Dang.
Yeah. It was just funny. I'm like, who would make that up? Like,
let's
all get together and be like, have your mom call in.
Yeah, everybody tell all their parents that one of your family members passed away.
Seriously.
I'm sure there's people out there that have done that.
Oh, I'm sure. And they're going to now. If they listen to this, like, that's freaking brilliant. No one will question that. Like, prove it. Prove that your grandparent died.
Yeah. I'm surprised Peyton hasn't tried that yet.
That'd be so terrible.
I mean, the thing is, on the bright side for her, she does have, well, not the bright side. That sounds super bad. She does have a grandparent that has passed away.
That's true.
So she could,
it wouldn't be totally lying because someone did.
It would just be changing the date.
A little bit.
A lot of it. That was a while. I don't even know.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, I want to say that was probably like 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that long. It could be.
Yeah, well, in March I'll have graduated high school 5 years ago.
It's so weird because I'm not that old. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll go with it, Katie. We'll just go with it.
Jackson reminds me constantly how old I really am.
What grade is he in now?
4th.
God, I remember when he was little.
I know.
That was my sophomore year of no school.
Was of no school.
that was the year I
my gap year.
Yeah, my gap year. I was, like the college students say, I was taking some time to learn who I am as a person.
And my aunt just made me come and watch her kid.
Listen,
birth control is a class. It should be.
Yeah.
And he was a lot.
That's fair. I mean, he was cool as hell, though.
Yeah. No, he's a good one. He is. We're lucky. He's a rule follower. He's a good boy.
Yeah, he's not like the older cousins he has.
There's
4 oldest cousins he has.
You guys, listen, at that age, y'all were good too.
I don't feel like Bear was good at any age.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. At 9, he was.
I feel
At
like
9,
he was
you are
still
right.
fat then.
No, stop.
I feel like Bear was fat.
Listen to me. You all you clowns.
I'm gonna call Krista and I'm gonna get a picture of him from 9 years old and I'm gonna put it on the video and be
I have one. But listen, it's not happening.
like,
You guys just wait. All y'all went through puberty at the different times.
yeah, but Bear went through it first.
Genetics are a bitch, you little assholes. Or you look
I
at your
was
dad.
laughing.
Your dad's tall and lean. Your mom's always been small. Screw
My
you.
dad is not lean.
Your dad is tall and lean. He's not like an obese man.
I guess you haven't seen my dad in
Okay.
a while. I wouldn't say he's obese.
No.
He actually told me. I was on the phone with him because Evan and I were talking about how much we weighed, and Dad was like, "Yeah, this is the lightest I've weighed since since you boys were born." I was like,
Good for him.
bro, you got like 80 pounds on me, and you're like 2 inches shorter. Like, I see those pictures of him when I was first born,
Mm-hmm.
when he was like super skinny,
Little.
and I thought he smoked crack.
Do you see what kids do to you? That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, he went through the worst transition because Mom just went gray. Dad went super skinny and then got heavier set, and is now starting to thin out. He's going through puberty now.
No, you guys talk your shit now because I'm gonna come at you when you're in your 40s and it's all fun and games.
I'm gonna be happy because I'm learning the African ways of raising children. So
I think that's awesome. I will follow up with that and see how it's going.
yeah.
Listen, right now Jackson's plan, I want to see if this goes. His plan is to have 9 or 10 kids and live in an RV. And I was like, couple things. Make sure that the person you pick is well aware of your plan because there's not a lot of people that are like, yeah, let's sign up for that.
Wait until I guarantee you that plan changes the minute he gets into middle school.
I don't know.
Is he like talking about girls yet?
So it's very funny. He's very obsessed with the idea of like he's started this debate that he has recruited classmates, and it's the date debate. He has made a PowerPoint with his classmates.
Your son made a whole PowerPoint.
Yeah. So he there's a rule in the class. There's a rule in his class that they're not allowed to date. I don't know if it's a school-wide rule or it's just his classroom rule.
Is this a rule he made or
No,
is
his
this
teacher.
a rule the teacher made? Okay.
So Jackson doesn't like that because he feels like you should be able to do things that you want.
So he's forming a band.
Oh yeah.
To argue debate with the teacher to change the rules.
And the teacher's spouse is on the school board, so he feels like if he can convince his teacher, he can just work his way up the chain.
At least he's got a plan.
I mean,
at 9 years old, I said,
"Are you gonna?" It's not that he wants to date anyone; he just wants other people to have that because I think he likes the story of it. Meanwhile, his sister
ahead of everything.
has a crush on Jackson's friend, and we're hanging out the other day, and she goes, "Mom, you know who I saw in the office? It was this kid." I was like, "Yeah, his muscles look bigger than usual." But yeah, I just want you to know. I was like, "You are 5 and in kindergarten. What are you?" So, anyways, that's my life in a nutshell. I have Jackson who's gonna run the world, and Lila who's gonna light it up.
You got the balance.
They're funny, but you guys were that way too. I mean, you guys were all normal-ish children. Very funny. Very.
Who was the least normal?
Oh, it depends in what area.
Just in general.
I don't know. I think you were a lot. Jackson's a lot like you in that you're very logical. You were that way always. Very chatty. Have always been very chatty. I don't know. Evan always had the big heart. He was always really. He's still that way. I feel like he's very sensitive in that way.
I don't know. Mom and I have had like a lot of conversations about Evan in particular, because like he's such, like I would state like I can see a lot of like a parent in like the family members I have. Like I see a lot of, how would I put it? I see a lot of Jose and Joshua. By like very kept to himself, not very extroverted.
Yeah.
Like is very stuck in his ways, quiet, like off in their own world. Haley, I see a lot of Mary Beth in Haley. I see the most of a parent I see in a kid would be mom and Peyton.
Yeah.
They're a spitting image.
And they talk and carry them like they're
They
like
are
we were talking about that.
literally, like they are
They're
literally the exact same
I
person.
told you about that. I go, it was like closing my eyes and listening to you. The only thing is that she said bro way more than your mom ever does.
Yeah, and Bear, I see a lot of Krista.
Okay.
Madison, I don't spend a whole lot of time with Madison,
Yeah.
so I can't really gauge that. With Jackie Lee, I would say I see more of you and Jackie Lee than I see
Oh, really?
of Rick.
Yeah. Oh, they butt heads. They're definitely that.
But I feel like I would say I see a lot of you and actually both of your kids because Lila's so like off the cuff, like just
She is.
bang,
She is a great
right
sense of
there.
humor. Yeah.
But Evan, I can't nail it down.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard. I haven't been around your dad in a long time, but your mom operates, for better or worse, too, from her heart really deeply.
Mm-hmm.
Evan has always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
Evan's always been
feels it hard.
Feels really deeply.
Hard.
Yeah. And I think that he gets that from your mom. Your mom just expresses it differently. Evan, you can see it, and your mom, it's not so visible, I feel like sometimes. Evan,
I guess yeah, because I have such a unique relationship with the both of them. I can see it before most with Evan.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's easier for me to see when he's struggling than when he's good.
Okay.
Because he like those people that have that like there's a name for it, like the fear of like the next shoe dropping, where you're not certain if like there's a lot of good going on, when's the bad gonna hit?
Yeah.
I feel like he kind of carries himself in that manner, which is I guess him still maturing.
Yeah.
But like the thing that I see with Dad is like those weird like the similarities, because I notice it in myself too, like the weird idiosyncrasies we have, like just the bizarre like facial features that we like the faces we'll make.
Yeah.
Like we do a lot of stuff that we don't even realize it until you stop and think about it, and it's like that. Yep, that's from old man.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, for a long time, I wanted to pride myself on not being like my dad, and now I sit back and I go, "Holy hell, I got a lot of similar with him."
It's not all bad though. Do you know what I mean? Like those.
Yeah,
things,
no, I mean, yeah, it's a weird balance for sure. I see a lot of but like that's the thing. You see a lot of these like younger people, and you see how they're uniquely themselves, but then you see like. It's almost like they themselves are their own, like, how the United States of America, they consider it like a big melting pot.
Yeah.
Like, that's each little person.
Yeah.
Like, you see them run around and you're like, no, you have your own personality, but you can see where it came from. Formed that personality.
Well, and yours will change too, I feel like, as you get older, how you feel about the things you take from your parents. Like, you're like, oh, that's not so bad. Or, oh, I like that. Or I'm like, oh. I said I'd never do that, and here I am, or whatever,
You know what's funny? The ones that I see it, and I go, ooh, for good or worse.
Yeah.
I see it, and I go, yep, that's Grandpa Carl.
He's great.
That's right there. That's where I get it from. Like so funny story. It was super inappropriate, but. So Grandma was at the hospital, and Grandpa asked my dad when he was there, so you can take pictures on this thing? And he's talking about the little flip phone that he carries around now, so that way if he can get a hold of Grandma. My dad showed him how to take pictures, and granted, for background story, my grandpa's deaf.
Very.
Like by choice and not by choice. He's got selective hearing and bad hearing all in one. And... so he looks over at my dad and goes, loud as hell, so the nurses in the hallway can hear him. So I can take a picture of and points at his junk. Oh. Mind you, he's 86 years old. You live with the only person you would be sending a picture of your junk to.
What did your dad say?
And my dad stopped him when he started to point because you could see he was going to not only point, but say. And my dad goes, and like stops him. And then the nurses in the hallway are laughing. And you see, and I'm like, that's the same kind of shit I pull.
Yeah. And Evan would say it out loud.
Oh, Evan
and
doesn't.
You would just
Evan doesn't care for the demonstration. He's like, so I could take a picture of my junk, and
it's true.
because he does that kind of stuff. Like I'll show you some of the videos. Like when Evan, Peyton, and I are together.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's going to be a law passed in the next year that states that we cannot be
Hang out together.
together without parental supervision. Because for one, Peyton and I are bad enough together as it is. Like I paid her $5 to get in a suitcase at Target and let me roll her around the store for 15 minutes.
$5? She's got an upper rate. Does she know how much you make now?
Yeah, she.
Okay,
has
I'm gonna
upped
tell her
rates,
she's
and
gonna up her
not
rate.
cheap. Let me tell you. And like we were out with, we all went out farting around. Me, Evan, and Siri, and Peyton, and we literally basically did like a vlog thing, but like one of the videos were in like BC Surf and Sport or something like that at Southwest Plaza, and they got like the sunglass section with the bucket hats, and so Evan and I were like, "Do me a favor, like act like you're you're just starting a vlog." And come around the corner, and we'll have our backs turned to you, and then we'll turn around and we'll show you what we're gonna do.
Oh.
Evan puts the sunglasses on upside down, and we had made the deal. I was gonna wear a bucket hat and sunglasses, and we were gonna turn around to the camera and we were gonna say, "Where's my dip, brother?" I couldn't even get "Where's my" out, and I was crying, and Evan's like laughing his ass off, like leaned over, and you can hear Siri in the video go, "Just finish the damn line," and you can hear Peyton in the background with her like squirt bottle laugh, where and it was hilarious, and like the store owner like comes over and is like, "You guys okay?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, sorry," and I had to bullshit and be like, "Oh, I run a YouTube channel." We're just trying to, we're just doing a funny skit for our family, you know. Okay.
Welcome to episode 4 of Shjon and Katie.
Just get it over with.
Where's my dick, bro?
It's right here, brother. You know. Okay, cool. Like, just try not to make too much noise or break anything. I mean, Evan and Peyton have already both been kicked out of Southwest Plaza.
I don't know. That's just not a good thing.
No.
No.
Peyton did it the dumbest way. Peyton did it while Mom and I were in the store.
She'd be mad if you put it out there right now, probably.
I mean, she's all, "I didn't even do anything." Like, I was just there. Basically, they were dropping the stuff that they had bought off the top level to their little friends downstairs.
Yeah.
And so once the security guard came up to tell them to stop doing it, high school girls just start running around the mall trying to get away.
Mm-hmm.
And Mom literally calls Peyton, and Peyton is literally running past us. And she's like, "Hey, you want to turn around and stop so we can leave?" And Peyton was like, "What?" And turns around real slow and just looks at us. I was like, "What's up, P. Diddy?"
She can't get away with nothing.
No. No.
So if you think that you can see like your cousins rather in their parents, can you see your aunts, your mom and G-Ma and Papa?
I see more G-Ma in Mom.
Do you?
I do. In the way that they go through hard time. I feel like they carry themselves very similarly when they're struggling mentally.
Mm-hmm.
They have a tendency to like seclude themselves.
Yeah.
Like they stay away, and I don't know what the reason for that is. I don't want to come up with ideas and paint them out to be something they're not.
Yeah.
But like I know that when Mom really struggled growing up with us, like it was a lot of like seclusion, kind of almost like a bedridden illness kind of thing.
Sure.
And so I see that I see a lot of G-Ma in Mom, and also the way they react to how we are. Like, and I can really only speak on behalf of like the older cousins, just because that's who I saw most of the interaction with.
Yeah.
Where it was like, you say something out of pocket that's normal for us, like when we do it with you, where it's like something like super inappropriate, super childish, like
Yeah.
borderline racist, and all these jacked up stuff that's like sometimes we just let fly in the moment, and their reactions are almost identical. Like mom doesn't do, like grandma kind of cracks like a wry smile and then like slaps you upside the back of the head. And mom just gives you the meanest death glare I have ever received in my life. Like
As she should, if you're saying things you should not be
there's
saying.
times where like, oh, we were talking about Haley Steinfeld yesterday. So for those that don't know, I have a huge crush on Haley Steinfeld.
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Like, because I'm learning as I grow up.
Mm-hmm.
If a chick is not highly attractive and doesn't have a good singing voice, I'm kind of out.
Wow, you.
And Haley Steinfeld can sing like.
Wait, those are your 2
incredible.
requirements?
Not so much requirements. I would say the singing is more of a bonus point, like brownie points. Like, oh, you can sing? You finna be my wife. And you can't have one without the other if you're trying to enter into this palace, this kingdom.
Wow.
Like, you can't have a beautiful voice and
Wow.
nope.
How is that working for you, by the way? How are those
As
standards?
you can tell, I've been single for almost 2 years now.
Those standards are something for you.
You know, this is another thing I was joking with mom yesterday, that I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, ever since the first relationship, like I've really kind of embraced the fact that like the party scene, the club scene, like sleeping around, like, yeah, it's all fun and games, but like really it's not for me. Like, I do partake in it, but not what my preference would be. Like, I just want someone for me.
Sure.
Like, just the two of us, like, we're off in our own little world, and
listening to her sing. Go on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm still a baby, yo. Like, you could sing me lullabies to sleep. I'm not going to argue.
This could be part of your problem. If that's what's on your profile,
well,
I'm still a baby. You can sing me to sleep.
See,
Swipe left.
So this is the thing, is like, I'm talking to her, and she's like, well, Shjon, if you hate being single so much, here's a bright idea. Why don't you stop being single? I'm like, that's super easy, Mom. And she's like, okay. I'm like, yeah, I have this thing where I'm like, I'm in this weird place where I'm like, I'm not ugly.
No, you're not.
But when females are like, damn, you're so fine, I'm like, yeah, you're tripping, dog. Like, I'm just average Joe over here.
That's a confidence. That's a maturity thing.
And but then I'm like sitting there, and like I was telling Mom that I went on this rant with Peyton because we were at a grocery store. Beautiful chick. I didn't know her, we were checking out at the self-checkouts at King Soopers. And Peyton's sitting there, and we're scanning stuff, and I'm putting it in the cart, and she's got a boyfriend, and I like glanced over to see what the deal was. And I was like, oh, how'd you pull that off, bud? Okay. Like, all right, kudos to you. Hung like a horse. And and so I hear her, like, they're getting ready to check out, and she goes, so do I have to pay this all myself, or like, can you help me, because I'm kind of broke? And he was like, I mean, if I have to, I will, but I would prefer not to.
Wow.
And I like
slide your card in.
I literally was like, Peyton, hurry up, we're leaving. And she's like, why? I'm like, hurry up, we're leaving. And I paid and left. And I get in the car, and I'm like, and this is why I hate being single, because you got dudes out here like that guy who shouldn't have been with her to begin with, and he can't even pay for the poor girl's groceries. Here I am. I make beautiful money. I'm tall. I'm attractive. I'm smart. I'm family oriented. What more could you ask for?
It's where you hang out. Where are you hanging out? Where you would meet people?
See, okay.
Okay.
I don't really be going out
That's okay.
like that.
So do you think they just come up to your door, or how are you thinking?
No, like
these?
I'm expecting kind of this thing for one, where like I'm very obviously very out there now with the podcasts
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Sure.
So, yes, I don't have like the biggest following,
Sure.
but if you live in the state of Colorado at this point, within like the end of the year, you'll know who I am.
I like it.
And I sit there and I go to these bars, and this was the other thing I was explaining to Mom, is like I go to bars where it's like not really a club scene, not really a party scene, just like cool people just trying to have like a night out on the town, have a couple beers with some friends, meet somebody if you do, but not like some other places where it's like horn dog galore, where everybody's trying to hump on something. And I get in there and I see these chicks, and like, because I'm very eye contact oriented. And so like I'll see a chick and I can feel when someone's looking at me, like eyeing me up, and I'll like look over and see him, and they'll be walking past me, and I'll look at him and definitely let them know like I'm feeling you, and then they'll like and like walk past like this nervous energy, and I'm like,
Are you creeping him out?
no, it's not a creep out thing, because if it's a creep out thing, like especially nowadays, chicks my age, they'll give you a dirty ass look. Like they'll be like, "Ugh, what the? Why are you looking at me like that, you weirdo?" And so I can tell, because I'll like look and like do the whole like school, like nervous schoolgirl kind of like energy, and I'm like, nah. Nah, because I'm of the belief equal rights equal fights. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not always gonna be the one making a move on a chick. Like I want a chick that knows what she wants. Is has no qualms coming up to me and asking me like, "Hey, can I get your number?" Because newsflash, that's how it worked with my ex-girlfriend. I didn't make the first move. I was humping on a coworker.
So maybe wow. I'm saying maybe then your expectations are...
My expectations have definitely dropped.
No, it doesn't need to drop. I'm just saying if that's happened to you in the past that worked, maybe that's what you think should always happen, and that's not real.
Nah, because I'm seeing some of these boss females walking around, and they...
That are your age?
Don't need to be my age.
What I'm saying is, do you think that people your age are...
No, I guess you got to...
You know what I mean?
I feel like they get a little skittish. That makes sense. But then I get nervous.
Well, that's because you're also...
Because I don't really be talking
22
to females
years
like
old.
that. And I got my own problems where I'm like, my eyebrows look good today. Like, I don't know.
This is what I'm saying.
Fingers crossed.
Listen, I had a boss once tell me that males' frontal lobes don't fully develop until like 28. So I'm just saying you have some time.
5 years.
Not that I'm just saying. No, because you could. But what I'm just saying is you don't have to be married next year. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so this is the thing, because I had a buddy of mine ask me, Shjon, what's the deal here? You want kids? I'm like, I want 2 kids.
Okay.
That's all I want.
Okay.
And I've got a request that nobody can fill out for me. I would like for my first one to be a son.
Okay.
I want the second one to be a daughter.
Okay.
And then that's it.
Oh.
I don't want that big family thing.
Okay.
But the main thing is, I don't want to be like 38 when my kid's like 5. That sounds nightmarish.
Try 40 when your kid's 5. It's just different. It's where you are in your life. This is the thing.
You get the benefit of it because you, in nature, are kind of childish. So you fit.
I will take that as a compliment. Thank you.
It is. I don't mean it in a bad way.
I think it helped watching all of you dorks, because then I knew that I should wait. Like, I'm not ready for that.
I don't know if I see. I just complimented you, and I feel like you didn't return the favor. That felt very derogatory. Oh,
no.
Is what they're like.
But I can't.
I need me more time for that.
I just knew I was not mature enough to handle, because I still laugh at all you guys' clowny things. Mm-hmm. And I shouldn't, is what I'm saying.
No.
I should have your mom's same reaction to some of the things you guys say to me, and I don't, because I
love my mom, but do you know how boring that gets?
Here's the thing. I was lucky in that I didn't have kids for so long.
Mhm.
And so then you guys all came around and I didn't have to follow the parent rule. I got to be cool and immature. And then I just liked that. So I didn't get out of it. But I will tell you, my kids probably won't think that about me. So y'all better start doing some work. Because at some point, they're not going to think I'm funny. It'll be embarrassing.
I
So then
feel
you
like-
guys say, no,
I
it was
feel-
funny.
I feel like for sure the one that's gonna get tired of it first, no matter if they were the same age,
Yeah.
definitely Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Well, he
Because
just,
I'm sure he already does it where he hears you say some of the stuff you
Yeah.
say, and then he just kind of looks at you like,
Yep.
"Really,
Mhm.
mom?"
Yeah. And Rick likes that because he's like, see? Like, what? It's funny.
Yeah, but Rick used to be kind of childish too when I first.
Oh, he
met him.
is. He just is quieter about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think he thinks, because I'll tell him something that you guys like send me or that we were talking about, and he's
Uh.
like, why? Really? And then he'll go, are you proud of yourself? I'm like, yes, I am. I like that they still call and tell me these things that are irrelevant or that I'll just send you useless knowledge about
Mhm.
nothing.
About farts,
Farts.
mainly.
Yes. Why?
See,
It's never not funny.
that's fair. I do get a good kick out of a fart. See, that's something. That's something that Grandpa Carl also instilled in me. was-
It's just funny. Like it's
I mean,
typically it's
natural.
harmless.
Typically,
Typically.
not with him.
He
There's
works-
nothing safe about that man.
He never wants to bet. I mean, I did that with all of you. Like Joshua still has a card I got him that was like this trifold of explaining different farts and what their names were.
Mm.
It was like 8 years ago. He still has it because it's that funny.
Mm.
It is that funny.
Yeah, I mean they are funny, but that's the other thing is like the unique like dynamic. Cause like I would say, from my point of view, with like the little people in our family,
Mhm.
like it almost feels like we have three graduating classes.
Mm.
Like I would say. Now, granted, Bear never graduated anything, but
He's making it
would
work.
be like the first graduating class. Obviously, would be myself, Madison, Evan, Bear,
Yeah.
and then the second graduating class would be Haley, Joshua, Peyton, Landon,
And that's it. Then you just have mine.
and then, well, no, because. No, I would put Landon. I would say Haley and Joshua are their, and Peyton are their own,
Yeah.
and then
The last three.
Jackie Lee, and Lila.
Mm-hmm.
But the weird thing is now I know they're not cousins technically, but I would kind of consider Rhiannon in that class as well.
Well, they're cousins. Well, yeah, because there's only 9 months between Lai and Rhiannon. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Mhm.
See, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hadn't seen Rhiannon for like 3 years. So the last time the first time I had seen her in a while,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Hey, yo, last time I seen you, you was not a person. Like now you're a person. Like you were
Yeah.
a child. Like because you figured I think I had only seen Cash in person maybe twice,
Mm.
and I see him now, and he's a person.
He's a little man.
Like he's not little. Like not for his age. He's big. He's bigger than Rhiannon. Like I see him, and oh damn.
He's a mini Xander.
Mhm.
I haven't seen them since this summer, but they're cute kids for sure.
Yeah, Ree's hilarious. Like, cause I always get the videos from Derek and Bear.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, look at this chick, and I see it, and like that's another one of those ones. She is like Peyton. She is all Madison.
Yeah.
Like they are so similar. I would say it's almost more spooky with Madison and Rhiannon
Mm-hmm.
because like I'll see videos and she carries herself as such a sweet girl. Like she is so sweet and genuine, and like you can just tell she's gonna be such an amazing person. And then you see Bear when he listens to like heavy metal, and she's like gets angry and is like jamming out and doing the whole head banging thing, and I'm like,
There she goes.
there's Madison. There it is.
That's a good combo to have.
Mm-hmm. And then you got Derek, who's just like,
Even.
ride the wave, baby.
He's in it for the ride. Yeah, it's funny. It is funny how they I don't know. I think Evan is. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I think you. I don't know. As you guys get older, it changes too. I think you guys are more. And again, I haven't been around your dad a lot anymore, but like that, you guys are all leaning towards more like your mom than.
Yes. I would say that's very much so. I would say that's a theme, especially across our family, but I feel like it's also a thing in general, like for everybody, that you have a tendency to lean more towards your mom. Maybe not so much now moving through time because, like when you guys were growing up, obviously it was a little different for you because grandma had her practice and everything like that. But
Papa was gone a lot.
yeah, grandpa was gone all the time. And most of the time, that's how it is growing up because the mom stays home or spends more time at home while the dad is out
doing his thing.
doing all this stuff. So I could see that for sure. I would say that I see more, if I had to pick which parent I see more in Evan, I would for sure say dad. But it's not like a landslide. Because him and mom, like mom and I butted heads around his age. Him and mom really clash. Like really clash. And part of it, I think, could be because they're so similar, but I think the other part of it is also because he's so similar to dad, and mom and dad all, like, from my knowledge, granted I was only like 2 when they split.
Yeah.
I felt like they clashed a lot. Like, knowing their personalities, I feel like they always clashed.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I wasn't around for that part, I guess, because obviously it wasn't like they weren't doing it in front of a crowd.
And wasn't it pretty short term, their whole relationship, for the most part?
But I remember being around your dad. Like Beth and I went to a hockey game with him and your mom, and I think your grandma was there. Maybe your grandpa was too. Like, and I remember him joking, and I mean, he was. Yeah, I don't remember ever. There was never like I don't ever remember witnessing a argument or even clashing of heads, even when you were little. But again, I mean, I don't think people are doing it out in the open.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was definitely, clearly worked out the way it was supposed to work out. Do you know what I mean? Where they...
I don't know, honestly.
Where they went their separate ways?
I guess that... I guess I'm too involved in the situation to say yes or no. Because, like, growing up, a big thing for me was always, like, I wish there was something I could do to get it to work out. So that way I didn't have to, like...
Go back and
growing
forth.
up, when you're in a split household, like, obviously you didn't.
Right.
But, like, for me, in a split household, it always felt like I had to pick a parent over the other. Like, you almost feel like you're obligated to pick a side in the fight. Even when you're that young, like as young as Evan and I were.
Yeah.
You always feel like, in nature, you have to pick a side when it splits. And so I always was super against the picking sides thing. I was like, well, why can't we have it both ways? And so it was always like, I always used to think of like what I could do to like basically be a little shit and sabotage the relationships they were in at the moment and try and kind of do like this hitch deal where like I work out a way for them to come back together and it work. And some of that was like selfishness on my behalf, because it's so difficult living in a split household, especially like for us. Evan and I, namely, Peyton didn't really have to go with it all that much. But I don't know. I don't know if it would have. Like, I'm sure it did work out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe there was a better way for it to have worked out.
Well, I mean, yeah, Endgame worked out the way it was supposed to. Not that it was easy, I'm sure, for any of you, really.
And I think the other thing, too, was like the thing that ended up benefiting us a lot was that it was so young.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you don't really have, like, I don't have a concept of them together at all. Like, seeing pictures of them together is, like, almost kind of alien.
Yeah, because you just don't remember it.
What the hell?
That's what we were talking about, too. Like, the things you remember as a kid. You better go let him in. Is it already that? Yeah. Are not always accurate. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were talking about that earlier. Like, the way that you guys think that this side of the family it feels towards you, you would be mistaken. Not that what you're feeling is wrong, but that's not
Always how it is.
right. Or like, you know, that we were there more than you guys realize. That we
for
showed
sure.
up more than y'all realized.
For sure, yeah, and I that would be a great part to leave it off to, like leave the episode on, is just kind of how you perceive everything is not always so correct.
Right. Don't assume.
Yeah, and like everybody's situation is a little bit different, and you really have to go out of your way to try and understand where somebody's coming from. Both ways.
Both ways, for sure. Yeah, because it's not how what you're feeling is wrong.
Yeah, I mean, your feeling is data. It's you have to figure out how that
Yeah.
fits into the grand scheme of things.
But we willing to hear the whole picture and not just your
your side. I mean, there's always three sides to the story.
right.
And
And usually mine's right.
I'm gonna drop a bar. Okay, so I was telling somebody this. This is the last note I'll say before we jump off. There's three sides to a coin. Nobody ever wants to admit there's three sides to a story either. There's your side, my side, and the truth. Well, there's three sides on a coin. There's the heads, there's the tails, and there's the ridge. Why do you think it's so difficult for people to understand the middle, that there is that third side of a story? Because it's really hard to balance a coin on the ridge.
Boom.
Mic drop. That's where we'll leave it at. Also, I want to hear in the comments, let us know what your guys' dynamic is with the family, what you guys view as. If you guys are a member of Katie and I's family, we definitely want to hear your side of the story. Tell us what you think growing up was like for you, how it relates to how we feel, and maybe we'll involve you on the conversation the next go-around.
Cool.
Thank you, Katie.
Always.
I appreciate it.
Cool.